So then I explained to my teacher that my parents were in Spokane. My family was in Spokane.
That's wild you couldn't get in touch with them.
Right. This is beautiful.
Isn't it though?
Yeah, it really is.
It's a glorious day.
It really is.
How did that happen, everyone?
Right.
There's kind of a fun little house off to the left. It's like some old barn thing. Do you see it? That is really fun.
Yeah, that is. That is so cool.
Oh, we've got everything buried in a hedgerow there.
Yes.
Oh, hello, everyone.
Yeah.
We are what? We feel you deserved better, so we decided to film. Where are we? On French Loop?
French Loop.
We're on French Loop.
Yes.
And we're heading out to that crazy MK Ultra Palace.
Right.
With the Evergreen State College.
Mm-hmm.
And should I let people know about this other channel where I've been booking people?
Sure.
Okay. There was a channel that I was tuning into for a little bit, and the man said, I need someone to book guests. And so I was like, okay. He's got better equipment. He's got a better channel.
Sure.
And I'll put a link to it, but I did talk to someone from the he gives me a little list of who he wants to talk to. And they're from something called the Murder Accountability Project.
Oh, that is so cool.
And weirdly, they're suing the FBI, although a lot of them are FBI people, retired. But I guess this guy, gave all the laws about they're doing, I guess, what the FBI is supposed to be doing and has never done. So it's interesting. And he's the person that found the serial murder cluster in Chicago.
Wow, very interesting.
Unless, there's residents that have known about it that nobody listened to, right? I mean, there could be that.
Yeah, you just never know.
But we're definitely heading out to a cluster now because this is Ted Bundy land. Yes. I think he wrote that this was actually one of his top favorite places. And
he probably murdered a lot of women there.
I think he did. There were a lot of people that hung out at Evergreen. There's one that's known that and he abducted her near the communications building. She was walking over to a concert, but there are a lot of people that come through here, aren't there, Evergreen, that are, I don't know, hitchhikers or free spirits or something that might not even be enrolled or might be enrolled and they just think they've dropped out or say they've dropped out. I guess there's a lot of cover-ups. Probably at all colleges, but I think Evergreen, they say, just has a huge amount of
they sure do
missing students, and they won't really admit it. They'll just say, oh, they just didn't re-enroll for the school year or something. Here we're near John Burnell's. Now this place used to have a big sign on it that said Fat Jack's Cadillac Shack. I don't know if you remember that place, but that was rather infamous. And down here is where John is now living on a school bus. So it's one person you can drive by and actually know their story.
Wow.
And his story is probably different than most. His parents bought him this land when he was at Evergreen. He said there's a TV sticking out there now. So it's sort of about the same as when it was. I mean, he had a really good idea, and he also owned the land across the street. It was sort of one big parcel, and he was a hoarder on a grand scale. He really should have been on this show, Hoarders. He had like over 250 cars they hauled out,
Oh
and
my goodness.
like 50 buses. And,
Right.
you know, they were all interesting, weird cars. You know, he had old
Uh-huh.
Citroens, you know,
Oh,
just like
yeah.
really cool stuff. And according to him, they all ran, but it was a pile, you know.
Sure.
Even people I know who just like, you know, aren't like big on the police or something were like, in that case, you know, he gave the OPD
Yeah.
no choice. So he is now living on a bus. They just had to
Right.
haul it all off, and he lost the land because they sent him a big bill
Sure.
for what they had to do to clean it up.
Uh-huh.
So in his case, it's sort of an Aesop fable where he kind of did it to himself, sadly.
Yeah, it sounds like he did.
He
That's-
really did. If he hadn't had that hoarder gene
Yeah.
and it just kept just renting, like you saw the teepees, it was
Right.
kind of a cute scene, but it was also, it was half like cool hippie and half like really disgusting gross.
Uh-huh.
It was
Right.
a weird mix. It had some innovative people living there in these cute little structures and stuff, and it also
yeah.
had just like, oh my god, the worst of the worst.
Oh, yes.
And here we are in our little bucolic.
Yeah.
And there's somebody just popping out of the woods there.
They sure are.
Oh
right
boy.
there. Mhm.
We are deep in it, everybody.
Yes. Get
So
a load of this.
exactly.
Mhm.
And you know, we're going to be turning into really the best part of the campus. Over there, there
Uh-huh.
are the mods.
Yes.
That's some student housing.
Yeah.
And if we keep going just a little bit,
Sure.
wow. So yeah, Ted Bundy was, there's a serial killer for you. And
Oh, yes.
I guess, I don't know if you knew this or not, but Doc had gone to the school during that time.
Uh-huh.
And he said that Dan Evans, the president then, who was a big Republican or whatever,
Right.
and so was Ted Bundy. Ted was really into the political thing.
Mm-hmm.
Dan Evans had hired him to be a spy,
Oh, wow.
to kind of turn in people that were maybe dealing drugs or doing bad things.
Right.
So that one aged well.
Oh, yeah. And I remember seeing where Ted Bundy would hide himself by joining the Mormon church.
Oh, you're kidding.
No.
He joined the Mormon, though. That's wild. That
Yeah,
is
and then
wild.
He couldn't be a part of it. They told him he couldn't be in it anymore because they found out about him.
Oh, wow. They
Yeah.
didn't want that.
No, they didn't.
They've got standards.
Yes.
There's a meadow behind this meadow, and
Uh-huh.
only a couple years ago did his shack fall down.
Oh.
But he had a little slab board shack he built out there.
Uh-huh.
And we used to walk by it on the way to the beach all the time. And then Doc said, yeah, that was... And he was known for that.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. He tried to join the Mormon church.
Oh, yeah.
He's just...
Mm-hmm.
God. I guess, would he just steal stuff all day long? There was one, like, there's, like, been a bunch of Bundy movies, haven't there?
Oh, yeah.
And there was one that almost started off like a comedy, which...
Mm-hmm.
They just had him driving around, and he'd, like, see a plant in front of someone's house. He'd just, like, stop and grab it off the porch and, like, just keep driving, you know? It was just, like,
Right.
really weird.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, this is the best part of the college.
I like this.
And
This
most
is
of the students don't know about it. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
You like
that
it
is
down
weird.
here, too?
Mhm.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, yeah. And they've built up so much around Evergreen now.
Yeah, they just really, like, where there used to be woods, it's kind of just like a Potemkin green belt or something, right? Just
Right.
like one line of trees, you know, just to pretend like you're in the woods.
Right.
This area here is better that way.
Oh, yes.
It does have the old original. There's a yew tree back in here that's super ancient.
Mhm.
And wow. we go down for a minute?
Yeah, let's do
All
that.
right, okay. I'll stop this and then we'll start it up, okay?
Okay.
Beautiful.